Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Always happy to welcome our next guest. You know Michelle Beyer.
Good morning.
From Addiction, Voices of Hope, and working with ICANN Housing. And you are the driving force between Share the Warmth, the Family Christmas Eve. And how good to see you. And now we are 1 week away from Christmas. And here it is.
Yes.
So we want to do what today? We need to remind people about Share the Warmth. Food. What is Share the Warmth, Michelle?
Share the Warmth is a Christmas Eve dinner that I started for the homeless and near homeless. The reason that I started this was because at one point when I was going through the deepest part of my addiction myself, which I'll be 9 years sober.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Round of applause for you.
February 1st, I'll be 9 years. I was homeless for a very short period of time before going into rehab and then jail following. And that was during the holidays. And I remember what that felt like. My children had gone to New Jersey to stay with my sister during this time. I had no one. And that's a really lonely feeling. And even though I knew I had family and I just couldn't be with them, I can't imagine what it would be like to not have family.
Yeah.
And be alone, cold, living on the streets. And when I say I was homeless, at least I had shelter. I just wasn't laying on the street somewhere. But the shelter was a shelter for teens, homeless teens, and they didn't have funding for the teens at the time, and so I could stay in one of those rooms. So I was in what they can call transitional housing. So I was real lucky. The teens, unfortunately, I feel, that was upsetting for them not being able to have something. But but I was still a part of the homeless count because I was considered homeless. And so when I was, I'm sorry, I'm just losing my train of thought. Just my mind is going back to that feeling and how horrible that feeling was. But when I got sober and on my own and able to just afford my own food and everything, I'm sitting in my kitchen and I'm thinking to myself, I could have people over right now and feed them. And so I put it out on Facebook and I said, hey, anybody out there alone, doesn't have family, why don't you, come on over and have some dinner with me? And, someone responded and, then I said, you know what, I want to do this on a bigger scale. So I called up a friend and I said, hey, I want to do this on Christmas Eve and let's get this together. And so that year, I went to we did it on the Stark County parking lot of the library on Market, and we served 200 people dinner. And through the volunteers, the volunteers made food, turkeys, everything, hams.
I just want to stop you there and go back to how remarkable that all was. First of all, you're talking Christmas Eve outdoors, and it was like a 70-degree day.
It was so warm that year.
And you were able to get the parking lot of a community place.
Right.
So a public place, the Stark County Library. And you just using social media got enough food to feed 200 people.
Plus, because we had enough food to bring over to the Refuge of Hope when we were done. I mean, so the donations.
That's loaves and fishes. So then there's even baskets left over that you take to Refuge of Hope after it's over.
And we had tables that people brought so, they could sit down, and we had chairs and we had canopies. Then we had some people doing haircuts and a triage so we could have blood pressure and Band-Aids. And, we also had, through a friend, they had clothing and things like that. So it was really nice. 200 people with food left over, and it was only through Facebook.
And this wasn't something that was an established event.
No, it was first time.
First time. Throw it out there. Hey, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I cooked 5 hams.
You know, when you just think of how can anyone not say there's a God when you see that his fingerprint was all over that?
Yes, it was 70 degrees and Facebook people just bringing out the food. It was amazing. So then the following year, my husband came aboard, and with his help and then your help, because, you're always into everything we do. If there's something big going on, just ask Susie to come in, and Susie's right there.
Not true. You're too kind. But anyway.
Okay, sure. So, and Susie said, hey, what about the Martin Center?
Well, you needed a place because you couldn't count on it being 70 degrees every single Christmas Eve day in Northeast Ohio.
And it hasn't been since.
No,
it's
ma'am,
been
it has not.
Freezing ever since.
Yeah.
And so that year, SARTA came aboard and Community Harvest, and they donated 21 turkeys. SARTA gave us free bus rides. So wherever they would pick up the bus, they would get a bus ride to the Martin Center and back to their location again. And we served 750 homeless, near homeless families. And they had food that they could take home. We had food left over that we brought to the refuge. We had food left over that we left at the Martin Center for their children that would come there for their programs. And some of the volunteers took home food. And, it was amazing. And it was like that for the next couple of years.
Yeah,
and so this year is going to be even more amazing.
Yeah, you have a new location now.
We have partnered with the Salvation Army.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
I mean, and you know what I love? Is they have a theme at Christmas time called Share the Warmth.
I know. Isn't that just, and that was something that Gary came up with. Mm-hmm. And, we were all sitting around, the second year, because I just called it,
a family Christmas Eve.
My family Christmas Eve, everyone's my family, And Gary's like, we've got to have a name for this. And I said, I don't care what you name it, as long as family's in there. Mm-hmm. And so he came up with Share the Warmth after going through all the websites and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then, the Salvation Army has their Share the Warmth, and it's little girl with the hot cocoa, and it's such a beautiful little picture.
That's
I love it.
Their theme.
Yeah, it is.
And they were welcoming to say, we'd love to partner with you all on this day. The other thing that's so neat is this particular year having Christmas Eve fall on a Monday when the Salvation Army normally does Soup Kitchen on Mondays. They do it Sunday nights and Mondays at noon. And so there it is. There's their awesome kitchen. Mm-hmm. There's their awesome location, the gymnasium full of tables and chairs that they set up like a lovely restaurant every Monday. So this isn't like trying to transform something that's not into something that is. This is, and you're just elevating it even greater on a much cooler, grander scale for Christmas Eve dinner.
This is the most amazing thing for me ever. Coming up with this idea in my kitchen, to seeing it on such a scale. Yeah. This would be like someone, like whoever, that guy that came up with J.C. Penney's, where he just thought of this and said, God, I'll give you, my 10% and tithings and he just made this huge conglomerate. Yeah. Well, that's what I feel like, and it's been like that. And for the Salvation Army to say we're honored, how are you honored? I'm honored. Are you kidding me?
Everyone's honored.
Well, it's incredible.
You have two groups here that you're needing to reach. First of all, volunteers at this point to do cooking and offer food. You need people saying, I'll bring you a dish. I'll make an extra dish and drop it off to the Salvation Army on Market Avenue in downtown Canton. But then you're also needing to reach the people in need. So how do you go about getting people that you want to be able to come and eat there to know about it as well?
There's no problem there.
Mm-hmm. That word spreads, huh?
Yeah, that's we have no problem in that area. Word does spread. The flyers are going out everywhere, and so are the bus tickets, because SARTA did offer that again.
That's awesome.
I know. That is such an amazing thing. And the bus stop is right in front of Salvation Army, so I'm expecting a little more than the 750 in the past.
I was just going to say, what are you expecting as far as how many mouths you'll be feeding on Christmas Eve Day?
I think it's going to be a lot more. I really, really do.
Ready for it?
I think so. If we've had, even serving the 750, we still had more than enough food to bring to Refuge of Hope, to leave there. We've had so much food that I don't believe we're going to have a problem. And again, we've got God on our side.
This is his idea. He does see it through.
Yep. I'm not worried.
What do you need in ways of volunteers and cookers?
We don't need any volunteers at all. We have our limit. We're actually... You guys are awesome, man. Holy cow.
That's wonderful to report.
I am still getting volunteers. I mean, we have someone, I have an angel named Alex.
Yes, she's pretty awesome.
And she came to me last year. And so she's in charge of she's in charge of everything. I'm like, here, you could have it. She's in charge of the volunteers and all the food. And we are over and above the volunteers that we need.
Okay, as far as working there that day and serving and so forth.
We have all the volunteers we need to work and serve.
Do you have all of the volunteers you need to cook turkeys?
Yes.
You do?
Yes. We have all. I know, she got us those too.
This is just an awesome report.
Yes. But what we do need is food.
Other than turkey.
Okay. Ham, we could always use a ham.
Okay.
Because let me tell you why. Every year since the first year, people are asking for hams because the first year we had about 10 hams donated. Like I said, I cooked 5 the first year. And they've been asking for them ever since because we've never had them. Last year,
ham was a big hit that first year, and people miss it, and they'd love some ham again.
Yes.
All righty.
So side dishes, mashed potatoes, stuffing. We have all the salad and rolls donated. Longhorn and, not Longhorn. Oh, my goodness. I'm forgetting who it is. A couple restaurants have donated, some of the side dishes, the salad and
Okay, wonderful.
Rolls. Bonefish Grill has given us all the take-home containers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, my little girl worked that one out.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So, the community's coming together, but we need a lot of food.
So side dishes is what you need.
Corn, mashed potatoes, any vegetable, anything. If you feel like making a big pan of ziti, it doesn't matter.
No, you're not going to turn that down.
No, pies. Cookies,
I was going to say desserts.
You want to make a happy birthday Jesus cake? Please do. Nice. Because it's all about our Lord and Savior.
Absolutely. Awesome. Okay, so somebody's hearing and saying, oh, yeah, I'll do that. I'll make one extra pan of something. I'm doing this anyway. I'll make an extra couple dozen cookies. Then what do they do? How do they get that to you?
Well, they could do this one of 2 ways. On Sunday, which is the 23rd, from 4 to 6 at the Salvation Army. You can come there, which the address is 420 Market Avenue South, which is also, you can find that address on our website, which is sharethewarmthstark.org. And again, that address is 420 Market Avenue South. The side door that you'll be coming in is located on the side of the building where the parking lot is. And the doors will be, they'll be marked. You could drop that off between 4 and 6 on Sunday. And then Monday we'll open the doors on the same one at 10 o'clock in the morning. And so you could donate it, bring it in that way.
And they'll be there Sunday.
But I have to, yes. But I'm going to say that there was a listener, and I'm going to assume it was one of your listeners from last year, that made a ton of stuffing. And the stuffing was amazing. And we want it back.
We're hoping you're listening right this minute.
Oh, it was so yummy.
What was special about it?
I don't know.
Okay.
But it was so good. I think I think they said it was an Amish recipe.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh.
If you are listening to us and you made that amazing stuffing last year, would you consider doing that again?
It was so delicious.
And just know to bring it to the Salvation Army on Market Avenue in downtown Canton.
And put Michelle's name on it.
Yeah, and a little extra for just Michelle.
Oh,
Sounds
so
good. Okay, so we are looking for people to cook side dishes is what we're looking for. And desserts. Okay,
Yes, we
sides
are.
and desserts. It's going to be. And you don't have to cook it for 500 people or 750 or 1,000
No, not
people.
at all.
You make a little, and everybody makes a little, and you add it all together, and it turns out to be a lot.
And you know what else we could use? Some hair cutters.
Okay.
And somebody that can paint nails and do manicures. We don't have that many this year. So that's also needed. So if you're a manicurist, go to sharethewarmth.stark.org and go to the form that we have on there for volunteers. And please sign up to do that. And I will give you a call. And we'll get you going for that because we really could use it. The women look forward to that.
Oh, yes. Yes. All right. Well, we will touch on that again when we return. We need to take a short break. Talking to Michelle Beyer from Share the Warmth. You're listening to Our Community.